Hi, my name's Mark Bailey from Bailey Guitars. This is my amazing workshop. We make all kinds of guitars, acoustics, electrics, arch tops, bass guitars, custom guitars, special edition guitars, and even the ukulele. So all our electric guitars come in 3 flavours. In fact, all our guitars come in 3 flavours. We've got our standard, which is our workhorse guitars, best bang for your buck, high quality guitar, all the best parts we can find, but without spending a fortune. That's our standard range. Any additions or changes to the spec, then the guitar becomes a special. For instance, I make a lot of guitars for shows. I need something to show off my guitars and techniques, so if we've got a nice piece of wood in, for instance, I might make a bandsman special, and you might find that in the shop. So they're showpiece guitars. Often the special guitars are my best work. I'm showing off what I can do basically with the specials. Beyond that are custom guitars. If you don't see what you want in the shop, but you like the bandsman, the Kerf or the Exotica, and I can make you a custom version, no problem at all. You just tell me what wood you want and parts, and hardware, colours, anything you want basically, and I can make it for you. So our basic range is the bandsman, the Kerf and the Exotica, and they come in 3 flavours: standard, special and custom. Because we make our guitars one at a time, it's not a problem for me to make you a left-handed version of any guitar you can see on our website. So as I've already explained, any of our models can be a standard or a special or a custom. But the special is not to be confused with our special edition guitars. I'm just going to show you a few of those. Sometimes I've got a really beautiful piece of wood, it doesn't fit any of our particular models. I'll make a guitar around that piece of wood. Here's 3 examples, for instance. Might also be a certain piece of hardware that I'd like to try, a type of pickup, for instance. You can see all our special edition guitars on our online shop if you click the special edition tab. So thanks for watching. That's all I've got to say. Now you know everything there is to know about Bailey electric guitars. Look out for future videos about our acoustics, arch tops, ukuleles, custom guitars, special editions, 1-string bass, 5-string bass, arch top, 5-string bass, fretless bass with a trem, all that kind of stuff. Cheers. How are you doing, folks? Welcome back to the Bailey Workshop on the guitar making channel for guitarmaking.co.uk. So this is going to be a follow-up from last Wednesday when I was demonstrating how we use this beautiful side bending machine. So most importantly today, I'm going to show you how to extract your side from the machine without breaking it. So yeah, because it's encased now in spring steel, if you're not careful, the spring steel can try and straighten out and it will actually snap your side. So there's a particular procedure for safely extricating your side. And also, as this kind of bit was supposed to be about making the sides for an acoustic guitar, I didn't really get on to talk much about kerf lining and how we glue that and clean that up. So I'm going to show you that so that we can say that I've completely shown you how to make a side. Right from a straight piece of wood up to a finished side. So this would be what it would look like just before we start assembling the body of the guitar. So yeah, another thing I forgot to do was show you a few that we've been working on. So there you go, there's one. And I'll show you a few more as we go on. So it's going to be a quick one today, maybe, well, maybe half an hour, maybe a little bit longer. I'm going to just start with a little quick update for Ed. Poor old Ed's guitar's a bit behind schedule, but we pulled a late one last night and finally managed to get the binding in or on. Don't know if we can get some shots of that, Carol. Get some shots of that. Close up cam. So this has got look at that. What do we call it? Celtic knotwork all the way around the edge. And obviously the thingy, the Celtic knotwork rosette. So as soon as we finish live streaming today, I'm going to be back onto this guitar, scraping and sanding, and then that will be ready for attaching the neck, which is going to be a dovetail joint. So I'm hoping to involve you guys in that in an upcoming live stream over the next week or two. I'm going to show you how we attach the neck for this, okay?
Say some hellos.
So yeah, hello folks, go on.
We've got Matt, as always, in Denver. We've got Marcel in the Netherlands.
Hi Matt, hi Marcel.
We've got Phantom, I think he's in America. Bo Jazz is
Hey
in the
Bo.
house from Arizona. We've got EP, Darren down in Hertfordshire, and we have...
Hi Darren.
Who else did...
Hi, EP's Ed, isn't it?
Oh, and TV 101.
TV 101. All right, welcome back, folks. Cheers to all our regulars and hopefully some newbies too. If you are new to this and you're not subscribed, then make sure you do, because yeah, we're mad for guitar making and guitar making gadgets and widgets. So if any of that floats your boat, then make sure you subscribe and like and all the YouTubey stuff, because it really helps our channel. So let's get a shot of this then, Carol. Yeah, maybe this wide shot at the back here. So the important thing is not to break the side as it comes out. Yes, please, that one. So I'm not just going to start.
Oh, and Carly from Australia.
Hey, Carly from Australia. How you doing, mate?
Bad. That was bad.
That's the worst Australian accent you'll hear on YouTube today. I'm already sacked. Apologies for that, Carla. So this is how you get your side out without breaking it. What I'm going to do is release the back first, but I'm going to hold it down so that it doesn't try and straighten itself out. I'm actually going to put a clip on it. So let me do that first. Get this back one off first. Now I can actually let go of the top flap, but I'm going to hold it down here. In fact, what I like to do is just to put a clip on it. If you can get a clip on it to hold it down, that helps. And then I can let go. Otherwise, you can actually do this because, as you know, guitar makers have got 3 hands. So I can use my third hand to hold it there, whilst my other 2 are busy elsewhere. But it takes a while to develop your third hand, and I'm going to show you how you do it with just the 2. So we can take this off. So far everything's safe. And now I'm going to take it off at the front, Carol, if you show the front camera too. Same here. Let's remove that one. This one I'm going to let the top go again. I'm going to hold the bottom by hand. And now, whilst holding this down, I'm just going to start unwinding this. Camera 1. Cheers, my dear. Get, yeah, whatever you like, whatever looks good. Right, so now it's come loose. This bit comes out. Camera 1. Take this bit out. That top slack can just come loose now. And we can undo the clip and everything just falls apart like this. And there we go. Can you tell what it is yet? Rolf Harris. Good old Rolf, eh?
No.
Whatever happened to Rolf?
You are joking, aren't you?
Is he one of the bad uns?
Yes.
Oh dear. Oh dear. Two little boys had two little toys. It's all gone wrong again, Carol.
Told you not to make jokes.
Yeah. I wanted to show you the moulds. So this is these are the moulds that are supplied with the kit. We don't supply these things. I am hoping at one point to supply this kind of thing on the website, but we're not there yet. So I'm not trying to sell you this stuff. I'm just trying to show you the different types of stuff that's available. So this is the one that comes with the kit. It's a bought one, and it's got these metal inserts to give you a nice solid frame. But all it is really is just a frame that's half the shape of the body. So you get one with a cutaway as well. Couldn't do that again. That's one that I've made actually, trying to show off using pipe. I just bought that from B&Q, I believe, just from a hardware store. Just a bit of metal pipe. Couldn't even tell you what it is. I cut 6-inch lengths and made my own version of this. So they're really easy to make. You don't even have to do that extent. The one you just saw me use was made from wood. Just knocked up from bits of wood. Here's another one. So I found a piece of a nice strip of aluminium, and I thought maybe it's a good idea to put a skin on one. It works. Not essential, but it looks nice, doesn't it? It was really difficult to make though, to get these curves smooth. So, but you don't need to go to that extent. That's quite a fancy looking one. You don't need to do that. It does need to be fairly strong, but it can be just made from wood. So that's your moulds. And just before we move on, we're going to do some questions, but I just want to show you there is also an attachment for doing cutaways. Certainly not recommended for a beginner.
Well, that was the question.
Oh, that was a question.
Does this process work for cutaways that tight?
Yes, it does. But yes, that's actually a pattern that I use. Maybe as we're on the subject, I could just mock it up. I could mock it up for you. And then we'll move on and talk about kerf lining if there aren't any more questions. We've also got to do the reveal, show you what it looks like when it comes out. When it comes out with the foil. So, the excitement. Wait till you see what I've got to show you at the end though. You won't believe it. Don't go away before the end, folks, because there's something special. I'll show you quickly then how it works. With a cutaway, not recommended for the faint-hearted. So there are bolts that go through to hold it in place, which I didn't need. I didn't think I was going to need, so they're not there at the moment. it'll still work, but normally there's bolts that go through here. Carol, can you see that? Through there, I can put a bolt through and it stops this from sliding forwards and backwards. We'll make do without that because this is just a mock-up to show you how it works. So if you imagine this piece of wood is imagine these slats is our piece of wood. Line it up at the back here just like before. Exactly the same procedure. Right up to when we bend the front bout, the upper bout. So the waist is the same. Let's just line that up. Waist is the same. Okay, so what I like to do is to get this one ready in place. And I'll be using crocodile clips to hold everything together to make sure that, that the heat blanket is getting good contact with the wood so that the wood's nice and hot and steamy. Make sure there's lots of steam coming off. I've seen people using a hot air gun at this point to put some extra heat into it. I don't personally do that, but I've seen it done. I do need to get a big bolt now. So the cutaway attachment just bolts on the end here. When you get to this point, we stick this on. So the key to this is obviously don't panic. And it can be quite fraught with whatever. I would use something to protect myself from the heat, like a block of wood or something, gloves. And then what you have to do is you have to hold the side here up against there as you widen it down. So you're doing two bends at once here. Something like this. I would never attempt this with a side straight off the bat. I would recommend that you do a few test runs first. Now what I have to do is lift it up, you see, because if that's down there, it can break on this corner where I'm pointing. So I have to lift it up as I wind this in. Get camera 2 on it, Carol. Winding this in. Brilliant. Until just holds there like that. And then I can relax that. That gives me the bend. So yeah, not recommended for the beginner or the faint-hearted. If you do that and it goes wrong, don't blame me, folks. I did warn you. Some woods bend a lot easier than others, as we spoke about last week. So let's do the reveal, and I'll show you a couple of other bits as well. Put that to one side. Now obviously a machine like that is very expensive and you're not going to do that for your first build, so there are alternatives, not least of which laminating the sides, like this guitar that we're making courtesy of Darren King from Bag Press. This is our first laminated guitar. Yeah, we'll be binding and putting the neck on this as well. This needs a dovetail neck on it. So you can laminate your sides. That's not as difficult as side bending. Probably cheaper, a lot cheaper actually than buying that big machine. And of course the the cheapest option is the what do we call this? Ibex side bending iron. These are available from the guitar making website if you're interested. So this is what I think is every guitar maker should really have one of these anyway, because you're probably going to need it for binding and all kinds of other stuff it's really useful for, and touching up sides. Little jobs here and there, binding around headstocks and bits and bobs like that. So I think every guitar maker should have one of these anyway. But there are different ways to do it, including laminating and using the side bending machine. And you can of course make your own. I did show you a homemade version last week, and you can go back and check that. And I show you on the course as well. So yeah, if you don't know what I mean by the course, so about 3 years ago, or 3 to 5 years ago, my memory's a bit hazy. I'd started building this website, which is the Academy of Guitar Making. So I've filmed the entire process of making guitars from start to finish, including electrics and acoustics. You start with a line on a piece of paper, work through the entire design process, and then we build the guitar, and you end up with hopefully your dream guitar. I do recommend you start with something fairly basic like this one over here, but you don't have to. As if you go to the website, there's a free forum on there where we all hang out, don't we, guys? We all hang out, and you can see what other people are working on. So yes, head over there and check out what people are getting up to. Let's do this then, the reveal. So this is rosewood. Rosewood is what I recommend for the beginner, being the easiest to bend. This is the most forgiving wood to bend. So I'm hoping that I didn't crack it. There we go. Main advantage of the machine is that the sides come out, they come out super clean. So there's no scorching, or if you do it right, there's no scorching. If you remember, I started this whole thing because a guy wrote to me and he'd been having problems with his side bender, and it literally burnt his wood. So if you want to know what we thought went wrong there, go back and watch the last one and you'll find out. But that's what it should look like when it comes out. Just a quick skiff with sandpaper and it's done. Ready to have the Kerf lining glued on. Absolutely gorgeous. As you can see, no scorching. Hardly any marks on it at all. So the paper keeps it nice and clean. And the foil there is to trap the moisture, and it helps it bend. It's the steam that actually does the bending. So whatever type of bend you do, it's usually the steam that's doing the bending. Whether you're using a machine like me, or a steam box, or a bending iron, you need to create heat, which creates steam, which weakens the fibres and allows them to move. And yeah, it's magic really, isn't it? Magic. Beautiful. So here's some other sides. Naughty Nick's, I've showed you these before. Naughty Nick will be back at some point. He's on the course. So if you don't know, we also run workshop courses, but at the moment we're not open to the public. We're not allowed to run courses. So that's one of the main reasons I'm here on YouTube, trying to rustle up some online business and resorting to, like, I feel like I'm busking again, like I'm a kid.
It's been good fun.
But it has been good fun, yeah, I've enjoyed it. To be honest, I started this channel just to promote my website. I wasn't intending on making any more videos other than some promotional videos. But since the lockdown, we've kind of got into the live streaming. We do it now every Wednesday and Saturday at 1 o'clock. So if you want to know more, that's where you'll find us. We've got a question. Carol's got her hands up.
Rock and Roller is saying, can tin foil be used with the ibex bending iron? You might need to repeat that.
No, you don't really need to. Can it be used? Well, it generally isn't used. I've never even thought about it before, so I wouldn't say never, but I've never seen anybody do it. So I just said never 3 times, didn't I? Never say never. That's 5 times. I've never done it. But that's not to say it can't be done.
Okay, so EP says he says in the last bending session you said that you hadn't had good experiences with steam boxes. So what are the disadvantages of steam boxes? We've got a video about that, haven't we?
Just skill level, I would say. Just experience. I was trying to make a video on using a steam box to bend sides, and I made a steam box. I used videos on YouTube to how to make a steam box, and I made one, tried it, snapped a side, and then I improved my steam box, made some improvements, tried it again, snapped another side. So third iteration, made a really nice steam box. It's a beauty, but not really sure how to use it. Maybe we didn't leave the sides in for long enough, but maybe we didn't get enough steam. But I never actually got it successfully to work. My main issue with it was I wasn't enjoying creating vast amounts of steam in my workshop.
And there was a lot of water dripping, wasn't there?
Yeah, so inevitably you end up with more moisture in the air, and that's just not what we want for a guitar making workshop. So I've decided to put the kibosh on that, but I will one day probably release some of the footage of where it all went wrong, because I know how much you guys like that sort of thing. Yes, one day.
It didn't make it to the course, did it?
It didn't make it to the general public, I'm afraid. So yeah, thanks for reminding me about that.
TV says, are you going to continue the live streams post-lockdown?
Yes, I definitely am going to continue the live streams. I've got 1,000 ideas of videos, and you guys keep giving me even more ideas. So yeah, if there is anything to do with guitar making tools, repairs, anything to do with guitars, just don't expect me to sing and play for you. Yeah, if you've got any ideas that you want me to do, then make sure to leave them in the comments, and I will get to them. We've already done quite a lot. On the last Saturday I carved a top, and that was just by request. So if you want to see how to carve a top like a PRS, that was last Saturday. Speaking of which, that's coming up. Here it is actually. I think next Wednesday, a week today, I'm going to be showing you how we deal with, it's like a carved top follow-up. Like I've done making the sides follow-up today, which I haven't finished yet, by the way. We've still got to talk about kerf lining and gluing it on. I'm going to do a follow-up on the carved top where I show you how we deal with fitting the pots, because having a curve on the top obviously complicates how we fit the pots. So I'm going to show you that in an upcoming live stream, probably a week today, but we'll see.
I've got a question about Raoul Shoughton in
Hey Raoul.
out in New Zealand has said, how do you figure out what is good wood for bending? Was it Raoul that put on the picture?
How you figure it out is you just try it. If you're lucky enough to have an offcut to test, then always do a test. Even if it's just a small piece, you can just do a test bend, see how it works. To make your piece of wood bend easier, you can make it a bit thinner, but obviously there's a limit to how thin you can go. I wouldn't go less than 2 millimeters. The 2.15 millimeters or 0.085 of an inch is ideal. That's what we aim for. Roughly. So this is sassafras, by the way. Naughty Nick, I told him, but he wouldn't listen. Some woods are harder to bend than others. Sassafras wasn't too bad, actually. This is my next guitar. Beautiful piece of... This is actually... this is rosewood from an old... reclaimed from an old cupboard, I believe.
Oh, is it the wardrobe door, isn't it? Also?
But really nice and easy to bend, nice straight grain, but incredible sound. This one's going to be... And here's some ebony. Somebody was asking me about bending ebony, so yeah, it can be done, but not recommended for the beginner.
What kind of ebony?
Stripy ebony. So, yeah, where's my notes? Coming up on Saturdays, we do guitar making techniques. I've still got 4 guitar making techniques to get through. That's sanding, gluing, clamping and drilling, all right? So there's a few really important little things I want to tell you about all those 4 subjects. Following last week's episode of The Side Bender, I was contacted by a guy called Martin, who he's made his own side bender at home. He's got his own CNC machine, makes his own bits and bobs. So that was fantastic to see, people making their own stuff. That's what this is all about. What I really want is the guitar making site. It's all about bringing people together and sharing our knowledge. So if you've made any guitar making widgets or tools you want me to have a look at, then by all means send them to me, and I will I'll do a review if you want, and if they're good I'll probably even buy one. So speaking of which, there are some I've got some demos and stuff coming up on that score, and I just want to mention our guitar making knife is 95% ready. They're just ready for their final sharpen now. We've got our first batch of the guitar maker's knife almost ready to go. So we need to sort out the details, putting it in the shop and all that kind of stuff. But this is called a guitar maker's knife, or skew chisel, or violin maker's chisel, or violin maker's knife. They also use very similar tools to us. Absolutely gorgeous. If I had one tool that I wouldn't ever be parted with, it would probably be my guitar maker's knife. Brilliant. So keep an eye out on the site for that, guys. And have we got any final questions before we wrap it up?
Well, we've still got things going on, so you can't...
Oh yeah, I haven't done the kerf lining yet.
Well, wait. We've got...
Kerf lining and how we clean it up. I'll just show you that quick. And go on, Carol, shout them out.
Right, so Robin Gosman says he's just joined up as a supporter, but he hadn't...
Thank
you! He hadn't intended to build a guitar, but you've convinced me that I've got to do it.
Yeah, man.
But you think he's going to do a carved top similar to the one that you've just shown, similar to Roland's.
Yeah, you can do that. Not as hard as you think. Watch the video that I did on Saturday, how to carve a top. And obviously you'll need to do the rest of the course as well. But that's the only difference.
And Carly Elliott, who's watching in Oz, she was asking about how she joins the community, and TV's explained a bit in the comments, but do you want to... Yeah,
so sure, if you want to get involved in the community, just go to the guitarmaking.co.uk website, and you can join for free. You can join the forum, and we'll all be there. You'll see our ugly mugs hanging out there. And if you've got any questions or anything, you can ask, and I'll answer, or somebody else will. We love helping each other out. It's completely free to join, but if you want to be a supporter, then you can chip in a little bit and get your warm, fuzzy feeling. You also get a free set of plans and the book on essential tools for joining up. And if you want to get on the full courses, then you will need to become a premium member, and then you get access to build your own electric guitar, design your own acoustic, and build your own acoustic. There's also make your own bolt-on neck and loads more coming. A masterclass on making the bridge, so 3 different types of bridges, and our salubrious member Darren King came here to the workshop, and we filmed a masterclass on using the bag press for guitar making. So we showed you about 5 or 6 different things you can use the bag press for. If you're interested in that, that's all. That's actually available on YouTube for free as well. So I think that just about covers that.
Right, so we've got a few things going on here. So EP says, can you cut wood that thin on your own bandsaw, or do you always need to buy it pre-made? Good question.
I would never attempt to cut that myself on a bandsaw unless I was prepared for quite a lot of wastage. If I had a fairly thick enough piece to start with and I wasn't concerned about wastage, I might have a go. But to be honest, I've never really felt the need. I've done a few ukuleles because the cuts are a lot smaller and easier, but with a guitar, it's such a deep cut. Let me just show you a side as they come in. It's a really good question actually, because people are always asking, you know, can I use bits of wood that you've got lying around and that kind of thing. This is a piece of rosewood that's been bought in, but I don't know if you can tell how thick it is. We get a close up on it, Carol. Maybe camera 2.
There we go. Put back a bit, it's a bit lower.
So this is rough sawn, and this is how it comes in. Sometimes I've handed this to people and they think it's just the worst piece of wood they've ever seen. But when it's been sanded and cleaned up, you see it looks like this. Beautiful. It's the same. So with an experienced eye, I can see through the rough sawn into the wood, and I know that this is a beautiful piece of rosewood. It does take a bit of experience to do that, but you develop your guitar maker's eye. We've talked about that, haven't we? Developing your guitar maker's eye. That's what it's all about. And your third hand. So this is how our wood comes in. It's really thick. You can't really cut it much thinner than that without risking it being waste. Which is why I can hear Darren talking in my ear now. Which is why the laminated sides are so a lot more good for the environment, ecologically sound, because these veneers are knife cut, so there's no sawdust, there's no waste. A knife cut, imagine, you know, like a pencil sharpener, it peels it off, and so there's no waste. You peel off a layer, you peel off another layer, there's nothing in between. Whereas when you bandsaw sides, then you're losing as much as you're left with. Probably lose 50% or more of the wood. It's quite shocking really, isn't it, how wasteful guitar making is. So that's one of the reasons we're so excited about these laminated guitar sides. So you should really check that out. Using the bag press for guitar making, we focus quite a lot on laminating those sides. So yes.
And there's a little bit of discussion about rosewood and CITES and all that, and I'm just about to type that we don't buy anything dodgy, do we?
No, so what about this thing?
I haven't finished yet. You haven't talked, have you done Kerf lining?
Kerf lining, yes. It's a good job Carol's here, isn't it? Okay, so here's our side. Let's do kerf lining quickly. Here's our side. These are reinforced with kerf lining, as you can see here. Now, a kerf basically is a slot, means a slot. So when you're buying a saw for guitar making, we're often concerned with the width of the slot because we might be putting a fret into that slot, for instance. So we talk about the kerf width of a saw. If you're buying a fret saw, it's about 24 thousandths of an inch you want for the kerf. So this is called kerfed lining. There's two basic types of kerfed lining, standard kerf lining and reverse kerf lining. So we buy a lot of this stuff in, the stuff that we supply in the kits, but we also make it as well. Where's me bit? So this is some reversed kerf lining that we've made. I don't know if we can get a better shot of that to show you the difference. Just broken it, doesn't matter. Which camera are we on? 4. Reverse kerf lining. You can see the slots are on the back. It's rounded off there, so it's no more difficult to make, but it looks a bit neater. It does look a bit neater.
1, 2 now.
As you can see. You'll see that through the sound hole. You'll see a few slots through the sound hole. But it does look a bit neater, but it doesn't really make any difference. So that's what standard kerf lining looks like. So different types of kerf lining. You could just glue it on just straight on your bench there. Just using I like to use these little spring clips. So you can just clip this on. You don't even need to heat bend this stuff. But the important thing when you're gluing this on is it needs to be glued on a thumbnail above the top there. Yeah, 4 please. So it needs to be a thumbnail above the top. Just sticking up slightly above the top. Let's get a close up. Extreme close up. Needs to be slightly sticking up like that. So that we can clean it up flush later. It's really important that it sticks up a thumbnail above the top there. Okay, so we could just do it here like this. But what I like to do is put it in I like to put it in one of these moulds. And that just helps to hold it square and straight. You don't need to do that, but I've got it in one of these moulds. Okay, and then we use lots of these clips to clip it in place. I'll just put a few on, just to show you. And then as I was saying about what was I saying about?
Standing proud.
Yeah, as I was saying, they're going to be glued on standing proud, and then they need to be cleaned up. So I'll just show you quickly how we do that. I guess there's a little bit more to it than this. You have to be very careful how you put the clamps on so you don't leave any gaps. But just for our purposes today, that'll do. I'm just going to put a few clips on. So this would be the stage. I would call this dry clamping, and I always dry clamp to do a test run to make sure I've got everything. And on the final run, I would fill all these gaps with clips, so there's no gaps. In fact, I would start at one end and work my way round to make sure that there's no gaps left. So the kerf lining is glued on, standing proud of the side, and then we leave it overnight. And to clean it up, what I do is we can move these clamps to the other side like this. And obviously we take the clips off. And then I use this sanding board here to sand it flat.
On the overhead.
Yeah, and that's how we get it flat, ready for assembling. So after all that, well, there's one that hasn't been sanded yet, you can see, hopefully. I'll get you a close-up in a minute. And here's one that has been sanded. Yeah, I'll just put this down and I'll give you a close-up. This one's the close-up cam. Oh, I've lost the close-up lens now. There it is.
We're wild and exciting today, aren't we? We're on camera.
There we go. What's that look like? Yeah, can we have the close-up camera, please? So there's it standing proud. And there's one where it's been sanded flat. Dead easy, just rubbing it on the board. This board right here. Some of the jobs are a bit tedious, that's one of them. So this there is a finished side. There we go. That's really what I wanted to show you today, was the reveal, taking it out of the machine safely without breaking it, and the kerf lining, two different types of kerf lining, how we glue it on and how we clean it up. Yeah, I've shown you a few other things along the way, like our new guitar making knife that's coming up. Look out for some reviews that are coming up, but don't go away just yet, because I've got one more little thing to show you.
Couple of questions.
One more little thing which will blow your minds.
Couple of questions, right? Couple of things. So just on there's this discussion about rosewood.
Yes.
There are some woods that have regulations. Depends where you are in the world, and I'm not quite sure where we are in the world, because we're sort of half in and half out the EU. So
it's all very confusing, isn't it?
But you just have to look it up. And
yeah.
If you've got any questions, come back to us. We don't buy from unregistered sources.
Yeah, we only buy from regulated guitar maker suppliers. So
and we turn away anything that like we've had people phone us up, haven't we, offering us illicit wood.
Yes, there's some woods that you cannot buy or sell anymore. I've got some wood in my wood room which I'm not allowed to make guitars out of anymore.
Unless you make it.
Actually, I can make it for myself, so that's what I'm doing. So this guitar that I'm making for myself this is antique Brazilian rosewood. Oh my God, I wish you could smell that. It smells like cherries and chocolate, and it's the most stable, beautiful wood in the world. It's not particularly amazing to look at, but it's going to sound phenomenal, and you just know that it's going to stay straight and level forever. But I can't sell it. Hands off, it's mine. So
because the guy that gave it to you was a cabinet maker.
Hands off.
And you don't have you don't have proof.
Yeah.
You have to have
You have to have certifications
proper.
of proof, CITES and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, as you can probably guess, Carol's the brains of the operation over there.
I've got a
She
question.
deals with all the legalities and stuff. So, I'm just a guitar making fool.
Oh, and thank you to Stephen if you're watching for your complimentary comments on my camera work, because he's a multi-cam operator, Mark.
Yeah, thanks for that. Carol needs all the encouragement she can get.
Right, so EP says...
She doesn't get much from me.
EP says, what grade grit for the sanding board? For the sandpaper.
So 80 grit for the sanding board.
Right, because Deej says he enjoyed that bit and making the sanding board on the course, because you show people how to make it.
Yes. By the way, removing your wood, if you've done a cutaway, is even more difficult than what I showed you before. Just bear in mind you have to support the wood. Remember that spring steel is in there and it will just try and straighten as soon as you take the clamps off, and it will take your piece of wood with it and snap your piece of wood if you're not careful. So you just have to make sure you're supporting it all times. Even get a friend to help hold the bits or whatever, or clamp it while you undo it all. Yeah, I will do a cutaway side for you at some point. But that was just a quick mock-up, and I just wanted to just say that before we finish. You've got to be extra careful, extricating your sides if you've done a cutaway, because you can actually break it.
Did he get a prize for getting 80 grit right? Oh my goodness, honestly, no, you were late.
So what about this then?
I've got another question, one more question.
Go on then.
Bojack's man says, such perfection is nice to see. Thanks, man. He said thanks.
Cheers, Bojack.
Right, and oh wow, Carly signed up as a full member.
Oh wow! Thanks, Carly.
Woohoo!
Yeah, that's the premium memberships is the thing that really keeps us going. I've been advised to do a Patreon page. I could have done a Patreon page years ago, but the thing is, Patreon could close down tomorrow. So what I've done is I've built our own guitar making academy. So totally appreciate your guys' support. Anyone who's a premium member or a supporter, you guys get my vote. Thank you very much for that.
Well, and tell them what premium membership is.
Yeah, so a premium member gets access to all the courses, past, future and present. As long as you're a premium member, you'll get access to the courses. And you also get a discount on everything in the shop. So you can actually get your membership back if you buy a kit from us. Then what you save pays for your membership. Yeah, so there's a lot of things you can do like that. And also you can earn, this is what people haven't really cottoned onto yet. I don't want to just, it's not just a shop. I'm not just trying to sell stuff to make money. It's an academy. I'm trying to build an academy where the best information and tools and stuff is available for you. At the moment, we're sort of targeting mostly like people starting out. So I've chosen everything to make people's lives as easy as possible building their first guitar. But, you know, we've got beginners and pros alike on the site. We're all helping each other out. And that's what it's all about.
Yeah,
so
Dave says, and a great academy it is.
Yeah, so I totally appreciate it. All down to you guys. So what did they say? Somebody said build it and they will come.
Yeah,
Yeah, thanks Kevin Costner for that.
I've got one last question. TV is asking about templates. Are they going to appear in the
Yeah, very soon. Templates, we've been talking about this for as long as I can remember anyway. But templates are all, we're trying to build the best online archive of everything. It takes time, it's not easy, but we are getting there. And you will start to see a lot of patterns and jigs and templates and stuff appearing on the site very soon. And Also more tutorials and stuff on how to use them. So do you want to see what's in this amazing box then?
Right, are there any last questions?
Any last questions before I show you what's in the box?
Just a couple of comments. TV says he wished there'd been courses like this available when he started building guitars.
So do I.
Deej says he doesn't want to build a baseball field. Thank you very much, because that's what it was. Matt Tomon in Denver suggested that we get students to do some live streams or make some videos. That's one of the things he said about the community.
Brilliant idea, yes. Yeah, like I say, if you guys have got any ideas for how to make things easier, what I've done is I've tried to make each job as easy as possible without having to spend a fortune on tools and all that. That's what it's all about. I think each job should take 10 or 20 minutes, and I think everybody should be able to do each job. So what I've laid out is it's about 50 or 60 jobs that you have to do to build a basic guitar. Each one should take about 10 or 20 minutes. But I know that that is just one way to do it. One thing I always tell people is to learn from as many people as possible. Learn from as many sources as possible. Get as many books as you can. Soak it all in. Don't just take my word for it. That's what I did when I was younger. I tried to learn from lots of different guitar makers, and I was lucky to be in the position to do so. So I love passing that knowledge on that I learned back in the day, and I'm still learning now. So if you guys have got any ideas where you think actually I can think of a better way to do that, fantastic, let me know, and then I can pass it on to everybody else, and we can all be making more guitars faster and easier, and having more time to drink tea and play our guitars.
Right, last little bit, because Matt was saying you are a teacher and it shows, and Rock and Roller,
thanks Matt,
said he seconds that. It's a great learning resource. He's been building for 30 years and he's still learning.
Wow. Yeah, likewise. I think if you ever stop learning, then it's time to just hang up your apron, isn't it? And give up. Because if you know everything, then what's the point?
EP says the course you've set up is a tremendous achievement. He keeps
Thank
forgetting
you.
you created
Cheers.
it from nothing but your own vision.
Yes, much appreciated. Yeah. Wrote the theme tune, sing the theme tune.
We've had some help along the way, haven't we?
Yeah, we have had a lot of help along the way, as Carol pointed out. We're still getting a lot of help as we speak. So yeah, we're approaching 5,000 subscribers. So hopefully I'm going to try and remember some of those people that have helped us along the way in our 5,000 subscriber special. But it's coming round so fast. It's I think it might be upon us before we know it. But we're still going to do it anyway. We might be a bit late with it, but hopefully we're going to do that. Lights. Carol's giving me secret signs.
It's a thumbs up.
Likes. She said likes. Make sure you like and subscribe and all that kind of YouTubey stuff is what she's saying.
Mugs.
Right. You're going to like this if Carol can somehow get a camera on it.
Right. Which camera do you reckon? Camera 3? Overhead, do you think?
Right, don't tell anyone about this, guys, please. This is just between me and you.
What is it, Mark?
Okay, well, yesterday, was it yesterday? It was yesterday. We were visited by an incredible man who collects guitars and all things guitar-y.
Rare and beautiful.
Rare and beautiful. I'm talking top level collector now, right? And he bought me this to ogle. So I couldn't resist showing it to you guys. I hope he'll forgive me. So in here, in this box, they still can't see it, Carol.
Oh, sorry.
In this box is some very, very special guitar wood.
Mum's the word.
In fact, every piece of wood in this guitar in this box is special. But I'm not going to talk about all these bits because all I want to show you is this piece underneath. Holy cow, Batman. So, for those aficionados out there, you may well have heard of a legendary tree called the tree. And our man, our crazy collector, has managed to obtain a piece of wood, not just from a tree, but from the tree. There are some other very special pieces of wood in here, which I will show you at some point, but I just couldn't resist showing you this. Check this out, guys. Now, you can't buy this. I promise you, this is not available for sale. In the UK, you can't buy it. But check it out. Something special. Yeah, it's almost holy. This is the holy grail of wood from the tree. So I'm going to very carefully wrap it back up and put it away, and that's all you're getting, I'm afraid. I'm going to do a very special episode on this coming up soon, where I tell you all about it, where it came from, the whole story. But until then, I guess what I could do, just to finish off, as a special treat for you guys who've waited till the end, as a special treat, shall we give it a little tap test? Shall we? So this is supposed to sound more like Brazilian rosewood than Brazilian rosewood, okay? Are you ready for this? I can't tell you what it feels like. It feels incredible. Can you hear that? Look at the colour. Look at the colour of that. There is nothing else like it. I'm going to tell you all about this wood in an upcoming episode. We won't get into all that now, but here's a special little treat for you guys who've waited right till the end. Tap testing, making sure I don't drop it. When you're tap testing, you need to hold your piece of wood about a third of the way, and a third of the way. I'm trying to hold it on what we call a node, which is a part of the material which doesn't vibrate when you tap it. So a board will vibrate in certain phases, different phases. It's very complicated. But if I hold it on a node, then it allows it to ring to get the full tone. A third of the way in and a third of the way in. I'm going to hold it very loosely with the tips of my fingers, give it a tap. And this is a first for me. Oh. There you go, guys. Folks. Now you can all say that you've heard a tap test of the tree. Wow. Moment's silence, please. Thank you. I don't know how that will come across on the microphone, but to me it sounds very rosewood, very rosewoody, yeah. Lordy law, so that was exciting, wasn't it?
Oh, they're talking about how you're caressing your wood. Look at your smile.
Look at this.
You obviously
Look at this. Oh, look at it though.
It's
Look.
beautiful.
Oh. Oh.
Do I need to face black?
Yeah, so yeah, we'll just fade to black on this. Just remember, guys, imagine bending this then, eh? Who's going to bend that? Yeah, there are certain techniques that if I was bending this, that I would employ certain special techniques. Maybe we'll do an episode on that at some point. But until then, make sure that you check twice and cut once.